All right, let's talk about that moment. You're in the IELTS Writing Task 1. You turn the page, and you're hoping, praying for a simple bar chart. But instead, you get a diagram of how cement is made, or a map of some town from 1985. Yeah, that feeling? That's panic. But today, we're going to flip that script and turn that panic into some serious points. And if you felt that, trust me, you are in good company. It is probably the most common reaction out there. Your mind just goes totally blank because you're looking at something that feels like it's from another planet compared to a normal graph. But what if I told you that panic is, well, completely unnecessary? You see, the first thought that jumps into your head is, oh no, this must be the super hard version. They're trying to trick me. But the real reason for that gut punch of surprise, it's got nothing to do with how difficult it is. That's it. That is the entire reason. It's just different. Our brains love patterns we recognize, and when you throw something new at us, especially under pressure, the first instinct is to freak out. But here's the thing. Unfamiliar does not mean hard. And this right here is the big secret for today. Seriously, once you crack the code, and trust me, it really is just a code, a formula, these questions become so predictable. They go from being a threat to being one of your best opportunities to nail a high score. So, let's break it down. So, the very first thing we need to do is a little mental reset. We have to switch our brains from math mode to story mode. This whole game is about words, not numbers. Take a look at this. It lays out the difference so clearly. With your typical graphs and charts, you're data detective, right? You're hunting for the highest number, the biggest trend. But with processes and maps, you're more like a narrator. You're telling a story, step by step, about how something happens or how a place has changed. The question completely shifts from how much to what's next. And this is absolutely crucial. You have to fight that urge to give your own opinion or to analyze why something happened. The examiner doesn't care if you think the new factory is ugly or if the process seems inefficient. Your only job is to be a reporter. You see it, you describe it. That's it. And you know what? That actually makes your job way, way easier. Okay, let's zoom in on our first scary task type, the process diagram. I want you to stop thinking of this as a test and start thinking of it as a puzzle. And the best part? We have the solution key right here. So it could be the life cycle of a butterfly, how coffee is made, or how a machine works. It doesn't matter. The task is always, always the same. Can you clearly explain the sequence of events from the beginning to the end? That's all they're looking for. And boom, here it is, the magic formula. Every single high-scoring answer looks exactly like this. Now pay close attention to step 2, the overview. This is the one people always forget, and it's a total game changer. Before you get into any details, you have to give a bird's eye view. Tell the examiner how many steps there are and where it starts and finishes. If you do this one thing, you are already way ahead of the pack. Now, these words, these are your new best friends. They're like the glue that holds your whole story together. They create a logical path that makes it super easy for the examiner to follow along. And using a few different ones, like you see here, shows you've got a good vocabulary. Okay, listen up, because this one is non-negotiable. You have to use the passive voice. Why? Well, think about it. We don't care who is heating the mixture. We just care that the mixture is heated. The hero of this story is the process itself, not some imaginary worker. The passive voice puts the spotlight right where it belongs. All right, let's talk about the score killers. We already mentioned the missing overview. That's a big one. Another classic mistake is writing like it's a recipe. You're not telling someone how to do it by saying you add water. You're reporting that water is added. Remember, you're a reporter, not a chef. Stay objective and stick to the facts. Okay, moving on to the other question that makes people nervous, the map. But here's the good news. All those same rules about being clear and structured, they apply here too. So for this one, your job is to be a time-traveling tour guide. You're looking at a place at two different moments in time, and you're pointing out everything that's different. What was built? What was torn down? What got bigger or smaller? The key skill here is all about comparison. Hey, does this look familiar? It should. It's the same rock-solid four-paragraph structure. You introduce it, you give that big picture overview, like, overall, the town became much more residential. And then you split the map into logical chunks and describe the details. It's a simple system that brings instant clarity to your writing. Now, to be a good tour guide, you need the right language. You can't just say, they built a new house. Where? You have to be specific. A new block of flats was constructed to the north of the park. Using these words shows the examiner you can describe where things are with precision. And here they are, the power verbs. These are the words that do all the heavy lifting. Notice we're often using the passive voice again. A forest didn't just disappear. It was removed to make way for a car park. A tiny post office was expanded into a large mail center. Getting comfortable with this vocabulary is your ticket to a great score. So let's bring it all home. We've looked at these two scary question types and realized they're both built on the exact same simple, repeatable ideas. It's time to stop thinking of them as a nightmare and start seeing them for what they really are, an opportunity. And this slide says it all. This is exactly why these are a gift if you're prepared. You don't have to come up with any brilliant, creative ideas. You don't need a strong opinion. You just have to follow the instructions, use the structure, and use the right words. It's a test of precision, not personality. This right here is the main takeaway. It's the most important thing to remember. Think of it like building IKEA furniture. The instructions are all there, all the parts are in the box. If you just follow the steps one by one, you're going to end up with a perfect result. It's not about being a genius, it's about being methodical. It's mechanical. So once you really get this formulaic approach into your head, the fear just disappears. It gets replaced with confidence. You'll flip that page, see a process or a map, and you won't panic. You'll just know, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. So the only question left is, are you ready to stop panicking and start collecting those points?